Okay, so I'm back with a part two. Continue talking about the tools that we've used in the past, use now, and the tools that we might possibly use in the future. My daughter, I got traded in for cartoons and a fruit snack, so she's not going to be joining us right now. So, like I said, I didn't necessarily need to update my items. It was more of a want than a necessity. But, what the heck, right? Alright, so, at first I was looking for something to replace that bayonet style knife and the Puma. I needed a workhorse, basically. So, I got to doing a lot of research, a lot of searching, and, you know, it seems like the more research I did, I kept coming up with the same name. Now, like I said, this was me looking for the biggest bang for my buck, not necessarily the best and the baddest on the market, but the best one for the dollar. And it seems like the one that kept popping up over and over and over again was, everybody knows it, the Becker BK2. Is it the best knife out there? No. Is it the best bang for the buck in a large knife? In my opinion, absolutely. Material-wise, 1095 carbon steel. This thing retains an edge like nobody's business. I have beat the soup out of this knife since I've received it, and it holds up. I stripped the black coating off and put a little forced patina on it, just so that if I chose to strike it, you know, against some chert or some flint or some quartz or anything like that, it would throw a spark. I don't prefer to do that with my knife, but if I had to, at least now I know that I can. Now, when you look at finding the biggest bang for your buck, you're going to suffer somewhere, okay? And with this, I suffered in the case of the sheath. But that wasn't a problem. As most of you guys know, I make my own sheaths, and as well as make and sell sheaths to anybody that wants them. And this was the sheath that I made for it. You can check it out on one of my other videos. I'm not going to go in depth on it. You can also look it up on. You can also look me up on Facebook at Wolf's Custom Sheaths. But anyway, Becker BK2 was the knife that I chose for the large knife, and it has not let me down yet. And like I said, I beat the soup out of this knife, and it just continues to tear through wood and anything else that I throw at it. Now, I went ahead and did away with the sharp finger. It's retired now. So the next thing that I wanted to try to find was a good medium-sized knife, something that I could process animals with fairly easy, and also do small carving tasks, things of that nature. Just your everyday camp work. And again, is there another knife out there that's better? You betcha. But is there one that's a bigger bang for the dollar? No. In my opinion, you all knew I was going to say it, Mora Companion. $12 to $14, guys. $12 to $14. 1095 carbon steel, made in Sweden. Scandinavian grind. The sharpest knife I've ever got from the factory. This knife made sharp knives look dull. Again though, the problem with the Mora is you paid the loss of spending that money on the sheath. I showed a video where I could take the Mora, tip it upside down and just barely do that, and the knife fell out of the sheath. So again, that's why I went ahead and designed and made my own sheath. Just like the BK2, I put a place on it for my ferro rod. In my opinion, doesn't get much better than this knife for the dollar. Okay, there are better knives, but not for the dollar. Small knives. Like I said, I went through a lot of folding knives. Also, my Leatherman. As far as the small folding knives that I carry on me every day, most of you guys have already seen this one. I've carried this knife since 1999. It is my Benchmade McHenry's & Williams ATS 34 steel. This knife has served me quite well, and I really love this knife. The other folding knife that I carry, little Kershaw. Okay, it's called the Wild Turkey. Very, very sharp little knife. Perfect for little bitty processing, small game, or to put in a fishing or a tackle box or something like that. Now, I've went through 2 other multi-tools since the original Leatherman. The one that I purchased after that one was a Gerber. It's a really nice little multi-tool. You know, comes with a partially serrated blade, very sharp, has a little file on it. Thing that it didn't have, or the 2 things that it doesn't have that I missed, were the saw and the awl. So eventually I retired this and moved on and got myself, well, my wife got me this for Christmas, the Leatherman Super Tool 300. One of the neat things about this one is the sheath itself is actually quite nice. The sheath itself actually has a little pouch on it that you can put your ferro rod in. As long as you have a piece of shock cord to put around it, it's not going to slip out. Kind of nice. The Super Tool itself has everything that you could need. Has your knife, has your file, has your awl, has your various flat blade screwdrivers, has the saw, has a serrated knife. Now, that saw and that awl, put those 2 items up against your ferro rod and watch out, because they throw sparks like mad. You can't go wrong with this. This thing, I love this thing. Okay, so I showed you the hatchet that I carried and used, and I wanted to replace it as well. I thought at the moment I would get away from the hatchet and go to an axe, and the axes on the market, they're great axes, but like I said, I'm looking for the biggest bang for the dollar, and as what I found was Cold Steel Trail Boss. High carbon 1095 carbon steel, like usual. Did not come with a case or a cover or anything like that, so I made this one. The handle was a very light color, so I sanded it down, put a new coat on this, darkened that handle up a little bit. It also come with the black coating over the blade, so I went ahead and stripped it off. And what I was left with was a very good axe, guys. I know a lot of people don't care for cold steel, especially after they went overseas, and I can't blame you. I don't condone them for doing that neither. But like I said, at times you just can't afford to buy the expensive stuff, and you have to stick with something that you can't afford. And if you're going to stick with something that you can afford, make sure it comes with good quality material. I didn't have to do much with this. I spent a little, about 5-10 minutes putting a nice edge on this, but after that, it's sharp. I mean, I can shave my arm with that thing. Oh, I see a balloon coming up behind me. Let me get right back with you guys.